What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Stand Up to Sitting podcast. I am your host and Chief Energy Officer, Jeremy Abramson.
Yes.
And man, oh man, am I fucking stoked for today's show with Starr Hawkins. Starr is a transcendent trainer and Pilates instructor in Miami Beach. She is most recognized for creating Ass and Abs, a workout that merges fitness and nightlife. She has worked with NFL athletes, models, and is currently helping superhero moms get their sexy back. Did I get all of that right?
Yo, that introduction, I need to hire you for my intros.
That was good,
That was
right?
amazing. That was great. I love it.
No, it's funny because the way that I think the first video that I saw of you was actually with LeSean McCoy, who's like a Pro Bowl running back. And I was like, wait, what? Like, I thought she just taught at Barry's and like did her Pilates thing and she's working with NFL athletes. I was like, that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
And the first thing that caught my attention was your energy. Like, I'm very aware and attracted to people's energy, like friends, partners, whatever it is. And that's what caught my attention. And then meeting you in person a couple of times, I was like, yeah, like that's not a show. Like her energy is real.
I love that.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the journey of how you got to be in Miami Beach, working with these people and doing what you're doing.
All right. Well, I mean, I guess it started, I was always in customer service. I did retail for years. School was never for me. I've always had really good energy. But I was kind of always like a partier. So school wasn't really my thing. And I ended up not doing well in college, flunked out of school, came down to Miami with a store that I was working with in DC. And they brought me here. I ended up getting pregnant by my daughter's father right after I moved here. I was 21 at the time. And I kind of just stayed. And then about 6 years ago, I was doing retail and I hated my life. I hated my job. I was kind of over it. I would do like boutiques because you could have those relationships. Like I had really good clients and I always loved selling and talking to people. And like, you know, I wasn't really one of those people that would sell like just to make numbers. Like I wanted you to actually like what you bought and I wanted us to be friends and maybe us go out after, you know, like I was like one of those people. So, it was about 6 years. My daughter was like 3. It was 6 years ago. My daughter was 3 and I was just over retail and kind of over my life. I had met someone and I was in the Miami scene going out a lot and, you know, going out and nightlife. And, the person that I was with was like, yo, you need to get sober. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever. I'll get sober because I wanted to be with that person. And I tried. I did like 90 days. And then I was like, went back and
this is 6 years ago.
Yeah, this is about 6 years ago.
Okay.
And they had even said, they were like, you know, you probably just need something else to like get that release from, you know? And yeah, I was going to like meetings and I was meeting sober people and I needed like something else. So I started doing Barry's. I had met the owner at Barry's. Well, I started doing flywheel actually. I was spinning a lot. I got really good at that. I was always athletic. Like in high school, I did track and I was a cheerleader and I did a bunch of stuff, but I guess I was always kind of working it on my feet. So I never really got into fitness and I was doing flywheel a lot. And then I had met the owner of Barry's, James, and I was working there and I was like working at the desk and I was doing retail and I had tried out to be a trainer at Barry's a couple times. Didn't work.
What didn't work?
I didn't have it. Like looking back now, I know I didn't have it. Like I didn't know what I was doing, what I was talking about. And I kind of like gave up with that, you know, and I got 2 years sober and then I fell off because the guy that I had gotten sober for ended up like doing something that I didn't like. So I kind of drank at him. It was stupid. And then about 2 years after that, we completely broke up. And I think that was like a really hard time for me because I kind of used him as like my alcohol too. Like I was obsessed with the relationship. I was obsessed with working out. Like I have a very addictive personality. Anything I put my mind to, which is also good. I feel like it's a superpower. Yeah. Anything I put my mind to, I can do.
Just depends on what you're channeling that energy to,
exactly.
Right?
So, we had broken up and I had nothing. I was driving his car. I was living in the apartment that we lived in. And I just kind of needed to change everything in my life. And this girl that I knew from Barry's was managing Jet Set Pilates, and she goes, Starr, you should really come teach. And I had like this ego, like, because one of my friends had done it, and I was like, I'm not going to do it unless they hit me up to do it. You know, like I had this like, whatever. No, and I'll probably, because I was a little afraid. I had tried out for Barry's a bunch and didn't get it, you know. Yeah. So I think that I probably just didn't really believe in myself either. So they finally hit me up. They were like, you need to do this certification. And I was like, okay, so I'm going to do it. So I went and I did it. And I was working at Nike at the time, and I was doing nightlife. I was promoting at Ricky's with my best friend, who is sober too, and has been a big part of like my recovery. And so we were promoting at night. I was folding shirts at Nike during the day, and then I was doing Jet Set classes. So I was not sleeping. And slowly, like everything kind of just like went into just training. So I ended up leaving Nike because I just couldn't do it anymore.
It was the store on Lincoln Road?
Yeah. They did like $1 million in a week, like the first week I was there. I mean, I'm talking like people are just coming. There is no like customer encounters there. You're just like selling, you know, Nike's like running the world right now. But so I was doing that. I ended up leaving there because of the nights, you know, and promoting's easy. I mean, we would go for 3 hours, and you know, it's just quick, easy money. That scene, though, I will say is, you know, if you're out at night, you can't get up early and do, and I still do, like I can run on like 5 hours of sleep, but it's kind of like a toxic scene sometimes, you know? Especially, I would imagine, for someone trying to maintain sobriety. Yeah. Like that seems like the last place you'd want to be. Well, you know what it is I do like being out. I hate to say it, but I do. Like, I'm not one of those people that doesn't like to go out. Like, I am high energy. I love to dance. I love to go out. I try not to go out after 2 because that's when stuff gets weird. But I mean, I've been at 11 till 5 in the morning sober, eating chicken wings, you know, like I'm good with that. Like if I'm with the right people and there's food, I'm staying, you know? Yeah. So, I ended up leaving Nike, and I was just doing the promoting, and my Jet Set classes started getting really full. And like, I guess I got more comfortable and more confident, and like, I kept picking up more classes. And then Ricky's ended up, like, nothing bad with them. It's crazy because everything happens the way it's supposed to always, I feel like, you know, at that time I needed that money, you know, so it was like easy money, and it was fun, and I needed to be out because I was getting over a breakup, and it was like I was still around people. And so then I just was training, and from there I started getting private clients, and I was training Rachel Russell, the owner of Style Saves. And then from her, I started training Isabella Grutman. And then from her, I got Martha Graff. And I just got this circle of like moms, and, you know, I got the almost like the right clients, you know. And then my classes were still full. I was just training full time. I ended up trying out for Barry's. And my first class was like a free class. I sold out the class and had people in the hallway doing it. Like, it was like crazy. It was like super emotional because I like really had wanted it. And I was there for, I want to say like at least a year training there. I went up to New York. I trained at the ones in New York for the summer. And yeah, I mean, I started Ass and Abs with my business partner. We got flown up to New York to open a Pilates studio there for a woman. Hold on, I have a question. Yeah. This is like blowing my mind right now because like Starr and I have connected, but not on like this type of level before. So all of this, just like you guys listening, a lot of this, in fact, all of it is new. So real quick, the failure at Barry's, right? Where you tried out a couple times, you got discouraged because like you admitted you weren't ready. And then what kind of caused you to go back there? Was it someone who reached out from Barry's, or like you're like, fuck, I want to overcome that past adversity and I want to be at Barry's? What instigated that whole situation? Well, I mean, I always loved the workout. So the whole time that I was at Jet Set, there were moments where I didn't necessarily work the desk, but I was always taking classes. And I have a great relationship with the owners. And like, I still go and I still bring clients. And I'm sure if they ever needed like a sub or something, I would do it. Cause I mean, I love the workout. So I don't know. I think it was something I just needed to prove to myself. Like, yo, you can do this, you know? And I will say teaching, that is a hard workout to teach. Anytime you're teaching 2 classes, and, you know, you got people walking in late and you've got they don't just teach a class, they're a DJ, you're a personality, you know, and I think that is what made my jet set classes so good, because when I would teach jet set, I turn up, like, my class isn't, you know, going to be the normal jet set class. Like, if you come to my class, you are going to sweat a lot. You're going to do cardio in between. You know, the music's really loud. Like, it's high energy, you know. I always wanted, like, I just took what I like from when I go to classes, and I tried to make it into me, you know, like, and bring the energy, and, you know, so I think it really helped me become a good instructor. I definitely give them credit for that.
Yeah, you've had a life filled with ups and downs. Like, just listening to the last 6 years, it's a fucking insane roller coaster ride that I want to kind of try and ride with you. So take me back. Just, it seems like a common theme in these last 6 years, and probably before that as well, is like adversity. Like, shit happens that appears to be bad, whether it's not getting the thing at Barry's, whether that relationship with that guy you really cared about kind of fizzled out, whether it's the sobriety 4 years ago, you kind of coming back to it, and all of these moments where you felt kind of defeated and down. What did you use? Because you seem to be very resilient, is what I'm discovering. Like, you're fucking resilient. So what is it that enabled you to bounce back from all of these shitty things that seem to be happening to you?
I mean, I'm definitely like a spiritual person. I believe in a higher power, whether, you know, it's God or it's the universe or whatever it is. So like, I always feel like there's been someone like kind of looking out for me too, you know? But I mean, I grew up, and my mom's a single mom. I grew up in North Carolina. I was mixed at the time. That in North Carolina, that was not like okay. I mean, I got called all kinds of names because I was black and white. Like, I remember on Martin Luther King Day, my boyfriend broke up with me. Like, it was like, because I'm like, oh yeah, my dad's black, you know? So like, I mean, I feel like I always kind of grew up like different. I always felt different. I knew how to adapt in different situations. You know, like, I'm kind of a chameleon. Like, I can be in any room, in any uncomfortable situation, and make it comfortable. You know, like, I think I've always had to kind of be like that to survive. My mom was never really around because she was a single mom and she has her battles, and she was struggling, you know, with the stuff that I later ended up struggling with, you know? So it's, so I've just always had to survive. I mean, I think I'm definitely a survivor, you know? And I've always had a really good work ethic. And I think that's why I, you know, did drink and party for so long, was because, you know, I could go out and I would have like the time of my life and end up in cool situations, whether I was like with Lil Wayne or like, you know, like what seemed cool at the time. And then
Lil Weezy's cool all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's get that straight.
But, you know, like, I could always end up in a good situation and then be out all night and then still make it to work and then go to work and kill it, you know? So like, that's why it like always kind of worked for me.
And all of this time still raising your daughter.
Yes.
Because being a mom is, I say this all the time, I acknowledge my mom for it all the time too. Like, being a mom is a full-time job.
Oh, for sure.
Like, if you want to be a present parent, that does not come easy.
No.
So that's like a whole different dynamic. And I'm sure that's one of the reasons these moms have gravitated towards you. Obviously, your energy is incredible and you're giving them a great workout. But the fact that they can relate to you because you have your daughter. And
definitely.
And how, like, what has that experience been like? Just being a mom and a single mom starting at age 21, like, how has that experience shaped who you are today?
I mean, I had her when I was 21. I always worked. Her father doesn't really help me financially at all. But she loves her dad. So she does, you know, spend time with him. And I mean, I had to fight for full custody of her. There were times where I had to go to court and I would like almost want to give up, because when you're 21, you know, you still want to be like a kid, you know, but, I mean, definitely I have a client that tells me all the time. I mean, I worked at every store on Purdy, and she would see me with my daughter, like at work. And then I'd go to Barry's and I'd be at work and like with my daughter. And she's like, I just always remembered you being a hustler. And then later on, I started training her. That was Lisa who got me Shady McCoy, because her husband's
Lisa Thompson.
Yeah, Drew Rosenhaus, the sports agent.
So funny.
So I mean, she's even told me that, and I mean, it feels good. It feels good to know that people see it, because sometimes, you know, you're doing all this stuff and you're like, nobody knows how hard I'm working, or like, does it even matter? But it does. You inspire people around you. And she's a super hard worker. I mean, she's a real estate agent. She's always working. Her daughter, she's such a good mom. Like, I actually look up to her a lot because she gives her daughter the world. But I mean, there were times that, you know, it wasn't that easy, and, you know, you're not sure how you're going to pay your bills or what's going to go on, you know. I'm lucky to say my daughter's never seen me drunk or, you know, see me like out, not sober. So that's always been a plus. And I mean, she knows I don't drink. She's gone with me to meetings. She's very, like, to be 9, she's very mature. She was always a good girl. Like, luckily, people gravitate to her as well too. She's got that energy. So I've always had family members and friends that have always been good, like helping me. And being in fitness, it's been good because this job I can bring her. Most of my clients are women. So, you know, if she's off from school, I can bring her to my client's house. And then if they have a daughter, you know, they sit and play.
Oh, that's
and,
so cool.
You know, one of my clients makes her Mickey Mouse pancakes every time she comes
That's
over.
such a dope dynamic.
You know, on her birthday, like, you know, people will send her money, and, like, you know, it's just, it's really cool to be able to have her. I started her Instagram. She's Little Mama Fit. So I had her teach a class at the Plymouth, a Mommy and Me class. And, you know, she's more of a dancer. She loves to dance. But it's cool. Like, I bring her everywhere with me. She literally goes everywhere with me.
There's a lot of places I want to take this. So let's start off with the first thing while it's fresh on my mind. So Lil Mama Fit, that's your daughter. Your Baby Momma Fit on Instagram. We'll talk more about that later. Like, who is Baby Momma Fit? Like, what does that person, what do you want to create? Like, what message do you want to communicate? Like, what do you stand for?
I want to empower women, obviously empower moms, you know. And just like, I think baby mama is kind of a negative name. Like, oh, that's my baby mama. Like, she's, you know, annoying. Yeah. Like, oh, and I kind of wanted to, like, embrace that. Like, I am a baby mama. I'm not married. I have tattoos. I have a big butt. Like, I'm not the ideal, you know, 9 to 5. I like hip hop music, like, kind of like for the culture, you know, like, I think that it's just like, it's a brand in itself. Like, you can be who you want to be, and you can be who you are, and you can have your own parenting style. And, you know, it's like, even as far as, like, I remember when I was raising my daughter, people were like, oh, you don't do a nap at a certain time. Like, you know, no, I'm hustling, I'm working. We cannot do nap time at 2. Like, you know.
Yeah. I feel like from the outside, like, watching what you're doing, the biggest thing I think that you're doing in terms of creating impact is giving other people, especially women, permission to be their authentic self.
Right.
And that's so big because we're constantly trying to seek approval from others and, like, act a certain type of way to impress someone we don't even give a fuck about. And it's like, you just embracing who you are is so dope. Like, just being you, like, and that it's going to rub people the wrong way, but fuck them. Yeah. Like, we're not going to please everyone. And that kind of segues into something that I'm really interested in, because I'm 28 and I always think about, like, when I am a dad. Like, I'm super excited for whenever that time happens. And I'm just wondering, because 2019 is a challenging time to raise a kid.
Oh, for sure.
I'm just wondering, like, for the parents listening and for the future parents, what are a couple things that you've implemented? Obviously, bringing your daughter to work is super special and unique. Not everyone has that luxury. What are a couple things that you've kind of raised your daughter with, some core principles or values, things that you've done with her that you think kind of stand out?
I mean, I really communicate with her a lot. I'm super open with her, you know, obviously about my sobriety. And I talk to her, you know, about her dad and how, you know, we're not together, but I still love him, and she can see him whenever she wants. And just, like, really embracing you know what it is when I was a kid, I feel like I had a lot of energy, and I might have been a little bit angry and aggressive as a kid, you know, because I had so much energy and people didn't understand that. But, like, instead of, like, kind of, like, crushing that, I think you should just find the power in it, the superpower, you know. Like, if I had put that energy in something else, like with her, I saw that dance this year was really huge for her. Like that's how she got her confidence, and just lifting her up and like, you know, trying to put her in as many things that build her confidence. And you know, we'll go to like a dinner and I'll be like, oh, Gigi, you want to show everybody your dance? And I'll make her do her Cardi B dance in front of everyone. And I mean, she likes it though. She wants to do it. And just like not try to steal her shine. I try to give her a shine too, you know, and like let her be herself. And you know, if she wants to have that creativity and, you know, if she wants to draw all over her arms, that's what she's doing today. Like you know, I just want her to be herself and not be afraid to be anything other than that. And then just taking her to all these experiences. I mean, bring her everywhere. I've taken her, you know, I'll take her to Space, to Daybreaker, or I took her to New York and I put her in the YMCA camp there, and she rode on the train and subways, like, you know, and then she went to Manhattan and stayed with my client with a nanny and didn't want to leave, you know. So like she gets the best of both worlds. She's like on the trains, she's in Queens, and then she's in Soho, you know, and I just bring her everywhere, you know. She is a big part of my life, and honestly, like if I can't bring her, I don't really want to go, you know. You know,
that everything that you just touched on is so powerful, because first of all, I want to acknowledge you, because you grew up with a single mom, and she, at least from the outside, doesn't seem like she showed you the love, affection, attention that you probably deserved and needed. But you use that experience to create the way you wanted to be a mom and raise your child. You know, like so many times we get stuck in like, we follow the same negative, shitty patterns of our parents without being conscious of it.
No,
it's
for
like,
sure.
oh shit.
You
like,
turn into your parents.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you, and like, there's either two ways you could have gone. You could have been like the exact same, or you could have been like using that as fuel to be like, yo, I do not want to raise my daughter in that environment. And a couple things that really stand out, just seeing the way kids interact today, is that honesty with them, because kids are so observant. Like they see everything. And I see so many parents trying to hide shit and conceal things and just beat around the bush. And kids are so much smarter than we think.
Yeah. Oh no, they know everything.
And
now they have TikTok and Instagram. I mean, they
what's
know
TikTok?
TikTok's like Vine. My daughter loves it. She does videos on there all day.
TikTok.
It's like Vine, but for kids, I guess. I don't know, but they know. I mean, I know she knows. She asked me, I was at my clients that just had a baby. She was like, where does the baby come out? I mean, like, like I that's a whole nother conversation, but you know, like they know. I mean, I'm sure she knew. She just wanted to see if I would say it.
And then the second thing that I wanted to point out that I think is so big for everyone, regardless of your age, is instilling confidence in her at this young age. Like, not forcing her to play the piano because that's what you wanted to do when you were a kid. Not forcing her to take tennis lessons. Like, fuck that. Because what I see so many parents doing is their kid is like a branch of them. It's like they're trying to give their kid the things that they wanted. Like, oh, I always wanted to play baseball. Okay, you're playing baseball. And then the kid gets burnt out and they're doing this thing that they're not really passionate about. They're not gifted at. And you have seemed to found like, okay, dance. Let's focus on dance for now. Like, that empowers you. You're able to express yourself. And then you force her to get out of her comfort zone and like share her gifts with the world. And she's 9.
Yeah, she loves it.
Like that. I'm excited to see what type of woman she grows up into being. That's super powerful. I think you have the ability, and I think that might be something that you want to pursue, is like really talking to these moms and women about these things. Like, you have a voice. You matter. You matter. Fuck what that person said. That's not who you are. Don't let that be your identity, and really do what you love and go all in at it. Like, you're relatively new to like the fitness industry, right?
Right. And
you've already made tidal waves and like a big name for yourself because you went all in, because you followed your passion, because you followed your gifts, right? So that's so dope. I can't. Next time we record, she has to be in here, and we'll have another mic right there, and we'll have the whole fam here.
Yeah,
it'll be dope.
She would love it.
And going a little deeper into the sobriety thing, or just overall just feeling anxious, feeling down, feeling depressed, things that people are battling on a day-to-day basis. What is something that you would like, a piece of maybe 1 or 2 actionable steps people can take to get out of their shit and to really create a life worth living? Because so often we're consumed by the past.
Right.
And we let that create our future. So
Exactly.
I'm wondering, like, just a couple things you could share that helped you that maybe other people could seek wisdom from.
Well, I'm really fortunate because I work in a career where I get to help people every day. So even if I'm like even if I'm stewing in my shit, like for whatever reason, I don't know. I mean, it depends on how I'm just going to say it. If it's like around my period and somebody's writing nasty stuff on my Instagram or something, it could be a little bit. It could
trigger you?
Right. It could be a little trigger. But obviously I still got to go to work that day. So I get to help people every day. And I think that when you realize, like, we have so much to be grateful for. So gratitude is a huge one. You can always write a gratitude list, write down all the things that you're thankful for. I have a house. I have good health. I have a daughter that loves me. I have a dog, like all the things that some people don't have. Like some people, I didn't even have a car. I was driving my ex's car. I have a car. I have a brand new car. I've gotten 2 cars since then.
Oh, shit. 2 whips?
2 whips. But I don't have the other one. I wrecked that one. But, like, I think if you think about the things that you do have, and then just to reach out to someone. You never know what other people are going through. I try to reach out to somebody that I know or that I haven't spoken to in a long time. I reach out to my business partner and we just check in. Sometimes we'll sit on FaceTime and not even look at each other. I try to, if you look outside yourself and try to help somebody else, it'll get you out of your stuff, because you'll realize that you probably don't have as bad of problems as other people do.
I love that. Also, I think something you mentioned is the idea that you're not alone. Like, there's a lot of other people struggling with the same shit that you are.
For sure.
Like,
all
people,
day.
there's such a stigma around, depression, anxiety, and mental health and all these things. People are embarrassed to talk about it and admit that they're struggling. It's like, dude, like 1 in 4 people right now is depressed or anxious.
Yeah.
And oftentimes we're just medicating with like Western medicine protocols and popping pills. But it's like what you said, connecting with community, relationships,
right.
All of that shit is huge. And
well, just because I'm sober too doesn't mean I don't medicate with other things. Like I can overwork out, I can overshop, I can obsess about a guy. Like you can fill that void with other things, and just like even checking that on a daily basis, I have to do. I have to like almost take a self inventory. Like, why are you feeling like this? Or what have I done today to like, what have I done? And sometimes all I've done is, take care of my daughter and go to work. And that's all I can do today. That's all I can do.
And
or
being
maybe
okay with that, like accepting that.
Or watch Netflix, like sometimes I have trouble. And it's funny, Johanna laugh at me because she loves sitting at home and like watching Netflix and doing her face mask. And I don't know how to sit still sometimes. Yeah, like if I'm not doing 8 things, if I'm not doing 8 things, I get that vibe. If I'm not doing 8 things, I'm like, what am I doing? I've only done 3 things today.
Yeah.
Like I start losing my mind, and, just being okay with being, myself and being by myself. And sometimes I just have to check that, because I'm not like using alcohol or drugs to medicate, I could use other things in my life.
What is one thing in these last 4 years that you kind of noticed as a common theme? Like, okay, maybe this is something that I'm trying to compensate for that loss. I'm trying to replace it with this. Obviously, fitness
is huge. I mean, working out, I could work out too. Sometimes I go through phases where I'll work out 3 times a day, like.
Wow.
Yeah. But I like it.
No, of course.
I really like working out. But
anything else that comes to mind?
I mean, I love to eat too. So I'll work out really hard. And then I'm not necessarily a binge eater, but I mean, I'm not saying no to food ever. Yeah.
We'll get some chips and guac after this.
Yeah, I'm definitely here for that. I suck at relationships. I suck at like having relationships with guys. I'm just like, I'm not cut out for it.
Do you think how much of that stems from the past relationship, the guy that you initially were motivated to get sober for, and then after, was it 2 years ago things officially ended?
Yeah, it's been about 2 years.
How much of it do you think has to do with that?
I mean, he definitely traumatized me. He's a Scorpio. Let's throw that out there. Don't ever date a Scorpio.
I'm a Virgo, so we're good.
Oh shit, Virgos are good. I mean, I think it's Miami too, a little bit. I mean, Miami's like, we're such a fun city, and we're full of beautiful people. I mean, anybody that settles down here, I think it can be hard.
Very
also, I
challenging.
think the internet. Also, if you look at my Instagram, it's like PG-13, so it could be my image. You know,
PG-13. That's
PG-15 maybe.
I would say PG-15.
Okay, PG-15.
It depends what these, like for your daughter, like PG-13, but for some of these, like especially I see some of these like Jewish kids who are super sheltered, and that might be like PG-17.
17.
Like,
okay.
or like their bar mitzvah gift. Like you
Yeah.
get to see a picture of Starr.
Yeah.
Baby Momma Fit.
So it could be that. But also, I mean, I don't know. I'm so busy too. Like, it's just.
Or do you feel like you're at a stage in your life where you kind of, it's just not a priority? Like do you have an open heart and an open?
Oh, I'm open for love. We made shirts that say open for love.
Yeah.
Like we make shirts that have our slogans on. So we have food at the function coming, and like we did a whole open for love drop. I'm definitely open for love. I'm open for love, and then I'm kind of not at the same time. Like
It's
I'm also
tough.
open to make money, you know? So like I feel like when I'm focused on my career, my love department sucks, you know? When I'm focused on my love department, then my money's
career
kind of not
suffers.
right. Yeah, because you know, you get like caught up and you get lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
You know, like the love sauce.
One thing that I've experienced, and maybe you can relate, is being in our industry and like being around other attractive people and like training and coaching and just being out in the community is not easy for other people to digest. Like my most recent relationship, there's just like so much, like I love the girl and she was a great girl and we aligned in a lot of areas, but like she was very jealous, like about things. I try to be as compassionate as possible, but like some of the things that she would get upset about, I was like, well, I'm not gonna not put my arm around someone for a picture. Like
Right.
You're tripping. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like it would be the same thing. Like guys are very territorial. There's always jealousy involved. It's like, oh shit, like I can't believe she posted that picture. I can't believe she's like training that dude. So
Right.
how much has that played a role?
I mean, I feel like I definitely need to date someone that's kind of aligned with my industry a little bit.
Yeah.
Like they have to, you know what it is, you know. But then, I mean, I find myself, I don't know if that's a girl thing, but I find myself getting jealous too. You know, you're like,
It's human nature.
you know. But yeah, I mean, Instagram's ruined it, ruined relationships.
Well,
it's ruining relationships as we speak right now.
It's one of those things where I try to have an approach where there's nothing that's good or bad. Everything's neutral. So people will shit on social media, but I'm like, this conversation wouldn't be taking place without social media.
That's very true.
Like,
no, I make 80% of my business from social media.
Exactly. And then people will vilify it or stigmatize it, and it's what you make of it. Like, for instance, you know, that knife over there could be a amazing life-saving tool for someone trying to break in here and kill us, or it could be a deadly weapon.
Right.
Like everything's neutral. It's what you make of it. So in terms of social media, I think it definitely plays a role. I think people are just, we have these, like, I always say with men especially, I feel like 90% of the time I'm just like a rational, critical thinking, like loving, acting with my heart guy. And then 10% of me acts with my dick. And when that 10% is acting and is controlling my body, then I make questionable decisions. You know what I mean? And
That's amazing.
yeah,
I love that.
It's like a chess
Send me
game.
that clip. I want to post that.
It's a chess game. It's a chess game, and like, okay, my head's like this head is like my brain is ahead. It's taking charge, and then as soon as I think I'm in checkmate, that fucking cock comes and it rears its ugly head. It's not ugly, I promise, but you get the drift, and I'm like, fuck, man. So,
But I've had conversations. Okay, so let's say it's not like about like arm around a girl, or like liking girls' pictures, or leaving like, you know, the emoji, all that stuff. Let's say it's like, my Instagram's my business. So if you're not if you're not liking my stuff and commenting my stuff, you're not supporting my business. I've had friends tell me that.
Yeah.
Friends that are bloggers, like, yo, if my friends don't like my stuff, then that's my business. You're hurting my money. And it's, if you take Instagram that serious, you know, it kind of, like, some people don't get that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've had those conversations. I'm taking it there, you know, like if you're not if you're liking, you know, every booty shaking video, but not even liking mine, like,
it can get
like, what is that? I need you to support me. Like, this is my job. This is how I make my money.
I feel you. It's a slippery slope. I understand the power of it, but I feel like regardless of the era we're in, the generation, like, human to human connection is always the most impactful. Like, and some of that interaction is initiated through like online conversation, whatever it is. And I'm sure, like, I can't even imagine like the amount and the type of messages that you receive on like a daily basis.
People are obsessed with feet. They want feet pictures.
Yo,
That's
I'm
weird.
always barefoot.
I know. You should be selling those. We could set you up like a little.
For real? Yo, if I could
There's a whole site for that. We could be selling your feet pictures.
There is a shocking number of gay men with feet fetish.
Yeah.
Foot fetish.
There's straight men that like feet.
Yo,
I get DMs for feet pics all day.
It's funny you mentioned.
My feet aren't even cute.
I'm like, yo, like, that's all you want to see my feet? I got way better attributes of my fucking feet. Especially now, they got all cuts and shit on them. But okay. This is, I had no idea when we linked up. I was like, this is going to be an interesting conversation. It's going to go down a bunch of different avenues, and I just want to keep an open mind and an open heart, see where things go. I want to go through a little bit of a rapid fire with you. So I'm going to ask you a few questions. I don't want you to like think deeply. I want you just like instinctively what comes to you.
Okay.
Let's
go.
Oh, you seem nervous.
I know.
I'm excited for this. All right. Your favorite, I already know the first one. Favorite emoji?
Oh, the peach, duh.
The peach for the cheeks.
The cheeks, yeah.
Okay, biggest pet peeve?
Biggest pet peeve. Ooh, I got a bunch. Ugly
Feel
teeth.
free to share two.
Two? Okay.
Yeah.
Ugly teeth. You got to take care of your teeth. Your teeth look great. What else?
Retainers.
Bad breath. Oof. Yeah, it's like a mouth thing.
Got it.
Smells.
Quote or mantra that you live by?
Quote or mantra that I live by. One day at a time. It's one day at a time.
I like that. Simple yet effective.
That's sobriety life.
For real.
Yeah, take it one day at a time.
A book or movie that has impacted you the most?
A book or movie that has impacted me the most would have to be, I mean, I'm trying to think of my favorite movie right now.
You don't have to think about these things. These things come to you. If it's your favorite movie, that shit's right there. Yeah. Give you 5 seconds or we'll move on.
Okay. So, I mean, I'm thinking about Pulp Fiction, but that really hasn't motivated me. But that's one of my really good favorite movies.
It's fucking classic. That's okay. That's okay. What are you most grateful for right now?
My daughter, living, being alive.
And this is a bonus question.
Okay.
Because you're that special. What are you most excited about right now? Like, when you wake up in the morning, day by day, like you said, with that approach, what excites you the most?
That I never know what's going to happen. I mean, I got booked for Essence Festival to go to New Orleans for like a huge festival to do a fitness thing. I mean, that just, like, half the stuff you can't even make up. It just happens. Somebody will hit me up tomorrow and say, come to New York, come to the Hamptons, do a pop-up. You know, like, I'm manifesting that. I'm putting that energy out there, but you just, every day's a new day. You never know what's going to happen. There's so many opportunities. I mean, it's cool. I feel real blessed.
Yeah.
Real blessed.
Yeah, I'm honestly really grateful for the opportunity to link up and talk, because for me, I feel like we need to people like you and I who have strong voices, strong personalities, and who have a lot of good to give, I feel like we need to amplify our message, like 10x that shit, because there's so much negativity out there. And like, I feel like we just need to keep on transcending our community.
I feel like even amongst trainers, though, there is.
Yeah.
Like, people don't want to, like, I mean, I think that's why I do so well is I've always shown mad love. I go to everyone's classes. Like, I try to, like, Instagram every single person that when I do see them, like, yo, what's up? You know, like, I try to, like, show love to people. And I don't know if it's a Miami thing or something. I mean, in New York, I feel like there's more of, like, a trainer community, but even in Miami, I think we struggle with that, you know, like people don't really want to come together.
There seems to be like for sure there's ego involved. Yeah, there's always ego involved. And I feel like also a lot of people who are putting shit out there and who are doing things, they haven't really done the work on themselves.
Right.
Like, they're putting all this, like, that's dope that you're fucking jacked and you're doing, like, these shoulder raises and squats and all this stuff. But it's like, okay, let's go a little deeper. Like, you know, like we are today. Like, finding about what your purpose is, what your why is. And I feel like once more people are aware of these things and they're willing to get vulnerable and share their stories, then shit will open up, because most people are just sleeping. We need more awoke people, like with their masks off.
Mask off.
Yeah, exactly. and like, I'm always trying to link up with people and connect, and just hear stories. Like, I think it's so fun because we all are so unique and we all have such different backgrounds. Like, after hearing all the stuff that you're in your life is compiled and you're still so young, like, I would love to see you get your own platform, your own show, because I feel like your message and your experiences could help so many people. And I know we went a little beyond the rapid fire questions, but I want to acknowledge you.
Yeah, I feel like I sucked at those questions. You got more? Give me like something else. Now I'm going to put you on the spot. I need a new question.
I got you. Okay.
Give me something better.
Okay. What is the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Shit, I just suck it on the spot. That's what it is. Okay, best piece of advice I ever received. I don't know, like, don't give up, keep going, keep pushing. Like, the little stuff, like the dumb stuff is actually like
resonated with you?
Yo, the simple stuff is the stuff, you know, like, I don't know,
true.
Be on time, like, show up with a smile.
And for the record, everyone listening, Starr was, I think, at least 15 minutes early today for the show. So
that'll never happen again.
Props to you. That's amazing. I appreciate that. And what about the worst piece of advice that you've ever received?
I mean, when I first started training, people told me I wasn't really the body type. So could you imagine if I like didn't, or that I didn't have it, or, you know, I guess just being told like I wasn't good enough. Because honestly, actually that is good advice, because it just motivates me. I really do well with negativity, because I want to, like,
you use it for fuel.
Yeah, like, it pisses me off, and then I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, I'm ready now.
Fuck, like, it opens up a whole new can of worms that I want to. Last thing I want to ask you, just based on that, like, people who are always trying to impress other people.
People pleasing.
External validation.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm guilty of this.
I'm very guilty of that. That's like, one of my defects, is that I people please.
Yeah.
Yes to death. I try to do too much.
Yeah. Like, I remember just being a kid and, like, always when there's like a crowd at my games or like someone I cared about, like, I would always be looking and like trying to put on a show. Like, always. Even now, I'm like, I'll see someone and I'll be like, okay, I'm going to do a workout or exercise that exemplifies my core and my abs, because I want them to see. I'm like, dude.
I almost broke my back because Diplo was in class one day. I tried to squat. I almost broke my back.
Did he come back to class?
Yeah. I mean, I've worked out with him before, but he was in a class that I was taking one day, and I almost died. I almost killed myself trying to show off for him.
Well, that is somewhat justified. Diplo's dope. Okay. I'm sure after everyone listens to this, watches this, they're going to be like, holy shit, I want to dive deeper with Starr. So where can they do that? Where can they connect with you?
I have a website. It's babymommafitness.com. And then obviously Instagram is always like the easiest thing. If you DM me, I run my own Instagram, so I'll definitely respond to you. If you want to come to a class, hit me up. I'll put you in as a guest. If it's free, it's for me.
Cool. And
I probably wouldn't like that I said that, but
it's all
just
good.
hit me up.
We're going to link to all of Starr's content in the show notes, so be sure to check those out. And guys, if you're in New Orleans, when's that festival?
We're going, I think it's the 5th, 6th, and 7th Essence Festival. It's huge. Like a bunch of like city girls are going to be there. A bunch of like shows. Pharrell might be there. I don't know. I got to look at the lineup. But it's a huge thing, and we're doing the fitness portion.
Dope.
I do a once a month ass and abs at Faina.
Yeah.
Every last weekend of the month with my business partner Johanna. Shout out Jungle Johanna. That's my main squeeze. That's my relationship right now.
That's Bay.
That's Bay. What else we got? We got Daybreaker tomorrow or Saturday. Daybreaker.
Yeah. So guys, my biggest piece of advice to you right now as we sign off is if something that Starr said today really hit home with you and really resonated and you're like, shit, I want to dive a little deeper, I want to ask her about that, reach out to her. These are the conversations that we want to have. And I am so grateful for you listening out there. Thank you so much for your love and support. This conscious community that we are cultivating is fucking blowing my mind. Over 30 countries have tuned into the show within the first 3 months. That shit is magic. That is why we're taking this shit worldwide. And that is why we took this studio to the next fucking level. So you already know what time it is. It's time to take action and stand up to sitting.